Hello all. To begin, I would like to personally thank you on behalf of the Brooks family for coming today and listening to my family's history. I would also like to thank the Black History Museum for all the hard work and services you provide Chatham-Kent. You are the reason I have been given the privilege to speak and learn a much greater depth of the historic, monumental events that were marked by my family's heritage. Without the museum, I would not have been as educated and informed as I am today, so thank you again. I would now like to introduce some of the current news up to date on some of the immediate Brooks family members, beginning with myself. I am born and raised in Chatham-Kent. I attended John and Gibbon in McNaughton Public School. I then graduated from the Chatham-Kent Secondary School and received my French immersion diploma with honors. After high school, I received my diploma with honors for the Border Services program at St. Clair College here in town. Currently, I am employed with the Federal Bridge Corporation as a security and administrative analyst. I recently married my husband Kurt last year in 2020, and we now reside in Corunna, Ontario. My father, Stockton Brooks, born in 1971, the oldest of his three siblings, Desiree and Noel Brooks, were raised by their parents, Carol and Leon Brooks. He graduated from St. Clair College after studying as a developmental service worker and continued working in his field at the Southwest Regional Center, followed by the casino in Dresden, and currently Home Depot here in town. At the age of 17, he was offered a scholarship for golf to the Michigan State University. To this day, he stays very low-key and is pretty personal, but is always open to lending a hand to his family when they are in need. He loves golfing, fishing, and being out on the water when he has time off. He also enjoys watching my brother and I play sports and other activities. His younger sister, Desiree Brooks, born in 1975, is the middle child and only girl. She states that she was like a rose between two thorns. Desiree graduated with 2 university degrees, sociology in 1998, and received an honors criminology degree. She is currently very proud to be a municipal worker for Chatham-Kent with the Human Services Department. She is a case manager with Employment and Social Services. She has just enjoyed her 14th anniversary with this employer, and later this month will be celebrating her 21st wedding anniversary with her husband Eric Hurd by sailing away on an Alaskan cruise. Eric is also employed by a municipality of Chatham-Kent and works in the IT department. Family continues to be tremendously important to Desiree as a member of the Brooks family. She goes on to say that childhood times for the 3 siblings were very fun and full of family adventures. Both parents worked full-time jobs at the Southwestern Regional Center. When both were scheduled at the same time, Grandma Rosa June Brooks would be the wonderful and trusted childcare provider for the trio. Oftentimes, Grandma Brooks would attend the family home on Indian Creek Road to take care of the energetic and creative kids. She would call all of her kids to tell them where she was and that she was watching her grandbabies. The favored times were when the babysitting was provided at Grandma and Grandpa Brooks' house in North Buxton. At Grandma and Grandpa's house is where the Brooks cousins would become the best friends for life. Family ties are still so very strong for these now adult cousins, as each took their turns being babysat by these awesome grandparents. In Chatham, bus hopping with Grandma was an exciting adventure for Stockton, Desiree, and Noel. Grandma would fall asleep on the bus, and the hope would be that she would wake up before the destination. She always did. The values of love and loyalty were taught in spades by the examples of Grandma and Grandpa Brooks. There are many cherished memories that will never be forgotten by the Brooks children. Noel Brooks, the youngest of the siblings, born in 1979, has a lifelong passion for athletics. He obtained a football scholarship out of high school to Graceland University. He currently volunteers by coaching young athletics for the Chatham-Kent Cougar Football Association, as well as previously coached in the Chatham Minor Baseball Association. In 2009, he founded a globally recognized brand associated with the sport of mixed martial arts, boasting sales in 22 countries worldwide and endorsed by some of the sport's top athletes. CBC's Dragon's Den, an alumni and former guest VJ, hosting his own 2-hour special on Much Music. He then returned to post-secondary education in 2014, obtaining a graduate's degree in sports and entertainment, sales and marketing from the Loyalist College in Belleville, Ontario. My Uncle Noel has worked in professional sports in various capacities, most recently for the Philadelphia Soul of the Arena Football League. He has been featured in numerous national publications and is a published author of a popular children's book series entitled Sometimes I Hear Bad Words, sold in stores worldwide. He currently resides under the radar locally in Chatham-Kent with his spouse, Christine, son Royce, and dogs Vinny and Rocco. My grandfather, Leon Brooks, takes pride in lending a hand to others whenever they are in need. This quality in him has been evident throughout his entire life. He was an honors student and was also on student council in high school. He has always been a phenomenal athlete and continues to be very active with golfing, fishing, biking, gardening, and walking trails. He describes his grandparents as hardworking farmers that took pride in a job well done. He is also very into his personal appearance and does not think it's appropriate to wear pajamas outside of the home. Now on to the history. According to folklore passed down by generations, Benjamin Brooks was born on a Spanish island in the Caribbean. It is said that he was born to a father who was of nobility and his mother was a slave. Anyone born of noble birth was considered a noble until such time as it was outlawed by the throne. But Benjamin was considered an embarrassment, and when still very young, in his 20s, he was exiled to another Spanish-held territory now known as Texas to collect taxes. The land was known as Land Estados, or Staked Plains, and was notorious for killing tax collectors. Benjamin knew of this, so he either did not collect the taxes or he kept the money and fled to freedom by his ship. He had in his possession the coat of arms which represented his family. It contained the words Abdigo, which means black, and Lo Semper, meaning always the same. He then fled northward, and during his travels he met a fair-skinned quadroon woman from Louisiana named Lucy, whom he eventually married. It is stated that some of John and Lucy's 8 children were born into slavery. Sometime later, Benjamin and Lucy reached the Don settlement near Dresden. Benjamin Brooks' actual birth name is unknown since he assumed the name of Benjamin Brooks when he was exiled, since he wished to remain anonymous for fear of authorities and the death threat. Eventually, he changed his name from Benjamin to John, although the name Benjamin can be found in the Prevails through the generations. He was described as being very tall, possibly 7 feet. He spoke Spanish and some broken English. The two are said to be buried in the BME Church Cemetery in North Buxton. Descendants of John Brooks and his family still reside in Buxton today. Marion Brooks, the daughter of Benjamin, or John, has given a few stories regarding her grandfather, stating that he was dark-skinned and resembled his son as Asbury Brooks. He was fiery and would fight with little provocation. He knew the handling of horses very well and owned a large farm, but didn't work the farm as he was a woodcutter by trade. He allowed his sons to work the farm instead. His oldest son, Gamaliel, took over the farm at an early age. Benjamin had a double-bit axe he called Peggy and was also known to bet other men he could beat them cutting down trees. Once he bet a Scotsman he could beat him at a tree-cutting race. His bet was accepted, and they went to the woods. He sharpened his axe and won the bet, in which was a quart of whiskey with 6 raw eggs in it. He was also believed to have never gotten a haircut and also never allowed his photos to be taken as they were considered bad luck. 2 of their sons, Kinchin, born 1832, past 1915, and Benjamin, born 1836, past 1912, were said to have served in the United States Colored Troops during the Civil War in 1863, formed in Detroit. The unit distinguished itself fighting in South Carolina and Florida, where there were more than a dozen battles in which they were engaged in. The unit suffered 10% loss of life. Benjamin ranked as a corporal and Kinchin as a sergeant. When discharged, the 2 brothers survived and came home in July 1865 to complete their military career, both drawing pensions at 55. It is to be noted that Kinchin was born in Halifax County, North Carolina in 1832, and his brother Benjamin was born in Canada in 1836, so it is evident the family used the Underground Railroad in the 1830s to get to safety. This to me is so amazing because it has always been something I've been taught in school, but I've never really thought about in a way that my own family used it in order to escape from slavery. My great-grandfather Benjamin Wayne Brooks came from the line of Benjamins. He took part in a Freemasonry group that was listed as St. John's Lodge No. 9 here in Chatham from 1948 to 1950. It became warranted in 1866. The lodge held their meetings at the Boyd Building, which was owned by Grandison Boyd, one of Chatham's early black businessmen. A lot of the work accompanied with the lodge was aiding the widows and orphans and being concerned about the general welfare of the black community. He was also a well-known farmer. As you can see, there was a great line of Benjamins in my family. A comical story regarding this such popular name is in regard to my brother's name, Benjamin Brooks. My father was sure he wanted to name him Kobe, but my mom explained she had a very strong gut feeling that she just needed to name him Benjamin, not knowing why, because she had never known another person named Benjamin, not even my great-grandfather Benjamin Wayne, because everyone always knew him as Wayne. She made sure he was Ben, even when my father was not in agreement. We recently learned the name Benjamin Brooks has been passed down since Benjamin I all the way back from the 1800s. I'm still not sure if she has a sense of relief yet or not. This is all I have for you today, as I would be up here for hours telling you all of the fascinating stories I have learned the past couple of weeks. Thank you all so much for coming to this great event and listening to a little bit of my family's history. It is greatly appreciated by all of us. Thank you.